Bulls fans, what is up? We are here. We are live. We are finally back. We are finally back. I repeat, we are finally back. We are finally back in the position to be able to compete for championships again. We are finally back in the position to be able to expect to make the playoffs every single year. We have multiple perennial all-stars on the team, and we got some young up-and-coming studs, man. So welcome to the Bulls Fan Podcast, starring your boy TPJ. I am the host of Hoops and Brews. I am also a producer on a show called Who Got Game, which you can check out on Baron Davis's youtube.com/slick. You can also check out Hoops and Brews and Hoops and Brews Happy Hour on HNBmedia.com, as well as on youtube.com/Hoops and Brews. Make sure if you're watching right now, you drop a like on said video, as well as drop a comment below on what you think your predictions for this Bull season is going to be. Very, very excited for what is about to happen. So let's go ahead. Let's hop into the action. So let's get to the hot topic of the day. We already know Lonzo Ball is now a Bull, signed and trade with the New Orleans Pelicans. It's official. Zoe is a Bull. I believe it's 3 years, $85 million, which is absolutely amazing for Lonzo. Absolutely amazing for Lonzo. I'm glad because LA, you know, I live in LA. They didn't really treat my mans with the respect that he needed. And I understand why you trade for Anthony Davis. Same reason why the Lakers won the championship last year, because he was the best player until he got hurt. The Lonzo Ball signing is huge for the Bulls. We have not had a point guard since Derrick Rose played for the Chicago Bulls. I repeat, we have not had a real point guard since Derrick Rose played basketball for the Chicago Bulls. And we haven't had a consistent point guard since one Kirk Heinrich, who was drafted in the 2003 draft. We haven't had one consistently that was consistently a good point guard. And actually, we haven't had one that's been an all-star since D Rose. And before that, I can't remember the last Bulls point guard that was an all-star. Might have been BJ Armstrong maybe 1 year, something like that. But signing Lonzo brings 14.6 points per game, which I expect to be around 15 to 16 next year. 4.8 rebounds, which I expect to actually jump by about 2. And Lonzo, I think, is going to get somewhere around 6 to 7 rebounds a game next year, because I think the Bulls will go small with the lineup of DeRozan, Patrick Williams, Zach LaVine, Lonzo, and then Vucci Main at center, obviously. And I think 1 through 4 will play positionless basketball, except for I think DeMar and Patrick Williams will wind up having to guard all of the, the bigger players, the bigger wings. But in terms of depth for this Bulls team, I mean, they have crazy depth. Lonzo is going to immediately come in, bring you 15 to 16 points. He's going to bring you 6 to 7 rebounds. He averaged 5.7 assists, which I expect to actually jump a lot more because Zion Williamson needs the ball in his hands a lot, as well as Brandon Ingram. I think Zach LaVine is going to need the ball in his hands, but I actually think Zach is going to take a dip this year in terms of scoring. I know last year Zach LaVine scored 27.4 points on 19.4 field goal attempts. He did shoot 50.7% from the field, which is amazing. I expect those shot attempts from Zach LaVine this year to be more around 18.4, which means he'll be more around 25-26 points per game. I do, however, think that Lonzo Ball's three-point shooting, which last year he shot 37.8% from the field goal range, although he only shot 41% from the free throw line, which was not great. I do think that Lonzo Ball will actually add a lot to the Chicago Bulls this year in terms of their shooting. I think he'll be great from the corners. I think he'll be great from the top of the key. Yeah, so DeMar and Lonzo, I think, are much more of drivers than they are shooters, but I think Lonzo will be able to help them to shoot more threes. I think that overall, DeMar is a guy like Zach LaVine that is a great slasher. They both can get to the rim with ease. Zach LaVine is a much better shooter, obviously, basically shooting 90, 50, 40 last year from the free throw line, field goal range, and three-point line. But overall, I think that the Bulls are actually in a very, very good spot in terms of their wings. And even if you look at their depth, it's going to be Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, Nikola Vucevic. And I think off the bench, the way it'll be is Kobe White as the point guard, Alex Caruso, AC Fresh. I can finally root for you now. I'm not a Lakers fan. I've been rooting for the Bulls or the Warriors because the Warriors been my team since 2004. Bulls been my team since I was born. I can finally root for Alex Caruso. He's a dirty, gritty type of player who puts forth a lot of effort, plays good defense, will dunk on your ass, can slash to the rim, can hit an open three, and has worked his way up. And I've single-handedly seen him with my own two eyes. So this is not from other people's eyes. I've watched him play Lakers G League games. I've watched him show up in those G League games. I've watched him work his way up into an actual NBA roster spot, two-way contract. I've watched him work his way from a two-way contract to being an actual contract to being a champion. So not only does he bring championship level experience, which no one on this Chicago Bulls team has championship experience. So Alex Caruso actually is bringing in some very, very valuable experience. DeMar DeRozan has been to the conference finals. Great. Cool, smooth, shout out to the LA legend. But that's not winning a championship. It takes a lot of effort to win a championship. And oftentimes you need those veteran guys off the bench that will get your team excited, get them wanting to play, get them wanting to bring that energy, that effort. And I think AC Fresh will do that. In terms of their depth, Troy Brown Jr. is someone that I'm actually looking to step up this year and take. That step is really being like the true seventh man, the true sixth man on this team. I believe that he has all of the tools and the makings to be able to go out and to execute at a high level off the bench. He was the first NBA player that we actually interviewed on Hoops and Brews, but I truly believe that his athletic ability, his ability to pass on the break, his court vision is good. He has a great ability to get to the rim, and he also actually can finish around the rim. I think that he hasn't really had a role. And I think this year, Billy Donovan will carve out that role. And that role is, hey, look, we're going to go small in terms of our wings to try to spread the floor more to make sure that Vucevic can have room. And we're going to play 4 out, 1 in. We need you when you come in off the bench for Zach LaVine or DeMar or Patrick Williams. We need you to score. We need you to play with energy, with pace, score, create plays and shots for other people. So Troy Brown Jr. is another guy off the bench for the Bulls that I think is key. Now, I do think that them trading Daniel Gafford, who has played very, very well in Washington, was kind of a crime, but it is what it is. I don't think that they saw that level of effort from him. And I can't blame the Bulls for making the decisions that they made about the players previously before based upon what was there. Like, there wasn't a ton there. You didn't really have a true leader, which I think Lonzo and DeMar will actually bring true leadership to the Bulls. There's no offense to Zach LaVine, and now we can kind of transition away from depth because Lauri Markkanen is definitely probably going to be gone, either to the Mavericks or to the Hornets. They're trying to figure it out just in terms of who's getting traded or whatever, because the Bulls offered Lauri Markkanen $15 million a year. He declined it. So the Mavericks and the Hornets are the two teams to be on the lookout for Lauri Markkanen. And then Tony Bradley off the bench is not really a bench. So the Bulls don't really have much depth in the front court, which is another reason why I said I believe Troy Brown Jr. will actually be big for this team. So if we look at DeMar DeRozan last year, played extremely well for the San Antonio Spurs. 61 games, he played 33.7 minutes. He shot 49.5% from the field goal range, 25.7% from the three-point range, which was awful. But he did shoot 88% from the free throw line. Now, I do know that DeMar had a stretch over the past, 2 years in which he did not attempt a three or hit a three for 12 months, I believe it was. We don't need that in Chicago. DeMar has to be aggressive taking threes in Chicago. If he is not aggressive in taking threes and at least giving me 3 attempts a game, this Bulls team is going to be very, very easy to defend, because then you're going to solely rely on Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, and a second-year guy in Patrick Williams. That's a recipe for a disaster to me. I'm sorry, it is. Also, I think that DeMar is a guy that was an Eastern Conference player. And, when he was playing for the Raptors, and DeMar plays very, very well versus teams in the East. If you look at it, DeMar's averaged 20.6 points per game plus versus the Wizards, Brooklyn, New York, Atlanta, and Miami over his career. All 5 of those teams were playoff teams last year. So expect for DeMar to actually play very, very well versus Eastern Conference competition. I actually look for DeMar this year to average a couple more points than he averaged last year. So I think DeMar DeRozan last year averaged 21.6 points per game on 15.1 field goals. That is incredible. I think DeMar will actually wind up averaging around 23 this year on about 17 field goal attempts. And I think Vucevic actually will take a step back. He'll probably take about 17.5 to 18 field goal attempts a game. And rather than averaging 21.5 points per game, I look at Vucci Man as being more of a 19 to 20 point per game scorer this year on a higher field goal percentage. Last year, he only shot 47.1% from the field goal range. I believe that this year he'll be more around that 49 to 50% mark, which is what you want to see. I think that in terms of the Bulls' overall field goal shooting percentage, last year they ranked 10th in the league in terms of field goal shooting percentage at 47.6% from the field goal range. DeMar is going to help you with this. DeMar is a guy that shoots around 50%. He's going to help. I think Lonzo hurts because Lonzo historically shoots around 38 to 40%. But I do think from the three-point line, last year the Bulls shot 37% even from the three-point line, which was 13th in the NBA. I do think that Lonzo will help with that because I think Lonzo will be a guy that, we don't forget how bad his shooting motion was, but his shooting motion used to be pull across the body, go all the way up, and then let it go. It was very, very defendable. He wasn't good shooting that way. He has a very solid and fluid shooting motion. I've seen a few of his all-season training moves. He's been trying to work more on his dribble drives and attacking to the rim, which I think is good for him. Also, I saw him working on a step back, which is good for him. So that's good for Lonzo, and that's good for us in Chicago. Let's go ahead. I didn't have my jersey on today because I wanted to keep it on the wall. So why not keep it on the wall? I think Lonzo will help that. I also think Lonzo is going to help the Bulls escalate the amount of three-point attempts that they take, which obviously DeMar DeRozan isn't going to be shooting a lot of threes. So I think Lonzo will probably take a lot more threes this year. I actually think that the Bulls, who ranked 17th last year in the NBA in terms of three-point field goal attempts, I think they only took 34 three-point field goal attempts per game last year. I think this year, expect that number to be more around 40, and mainly that will be because of one Lonzo Ball, as well as I think AC Fresh will probably take about 3 to 4 threes a game. Last year, the Bulls were passing their ass off. They actually ranked 8th in the league in terms of assists at 26.8. This year, I actually look for the Bulls to be a top 5 assist team in the NBA. Billy Donovan does a good job of getting his teams to shoot the basketball and being able to get them to share the basketball. He even got Russell Westbrook and Paul George to both average some of their career high in terms of assists when he was coaching them and they were underneath his tutelage. Also, I look for the Bulls defense to get exponentially better this year. Last year, the Bulls ranked 28th in terms of steals and 27th in terms of blocks. I think DeMar DeRozan will be a guy that will come in and get you a steal a game. I think Lonzo Ball at his height and at his peak should be able to give me 2 to 2.5 steals a game because I think he can be that level defender. You also have a guy like Alex Caruso. I think he will, provide more steals and defensive opportunities. And I look for Patrick Williams to take another step this year and maybe not necessarily score that many points. I look for Patrick Williams to really average around 13 to 14 to 15 points per game. But I look for him to be a demon on defense. And guess what? The Bulls don't need him to do anything much more than that. Ronnie Brewer, guys like Keith Bogans, they got away with scoring 5 and 6 points per game while they were on the Bulls with the MVP Derrick Rose. So I'm not necessarily looking for Patrick Williams to, to light it up on the scoreboard, but I do think that he will be very, very effective overall for this team as we go forward. And last year, the Bulls gave up 111.6 points per game, which was kind of in the middle of the league, in the middle of the pack. But obviously, we did not make the playoffs, so we want to make the playoffs this year. This is what I'm looking for. And finally, to close it out, the Bulls have a bona fide big three. We have a big three, and really, I think we have a big four, right? I think we have a big four. I think the Bulls have a big four with Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Vucevic, and Lonzo Ball. I believe that Lonzo Ball has never been coached by a coach that actually believes in him, and I think that the closest thing we've gotten to Lonzo Ball being coached by a coach that believes in him was Stan Van Gundy, and Stan Van Gundy couldn't survive more than 1 year in New Orleans as the head coach. So as we move forward, next year, I already told you, I'm looking for Lonzo Ball to come out and give me at least 15 to 16 points per game. Give me at least 6 rebounds to 7 rebounds a game. Give me at least 7 to 8 assists per per game next year on 45% shooting from the field goal range. And as long as he can shoot 39% or above, or 38% or above from the 3-point line, that is a vastly successful year for Lonzo Ball. And if the Bulls go where I think they can go, which I'm taking the Bulls right now, you can book it. They will be the number 3 seed in the NBA. They will win 50. The Bulls will win 53 games this year. They will be the number 3 seed in the NBA next year. And I believe that the Chicago Bulls will get to the Eastern Conference Finals, because I look for Brooklyn to be number 1 seed. I look for the Bucks to be the number 2 seed. And I look for the 76ers actually to be the 4th seed, because I think that they will take a step back. And if they don't take a step back, I look for either the Bucks or the Nets to take a step back. But one of those teams will not be the 3 seed next year. The 3 seed will be the Chicago Bulls with their big 4. And I think we could wind up, especially with as much star power, as many national television games as we should get next year. We should at least get 20, Adam Silver. I'm talking to you. Please, big guy, help us out. Give us 20 national TV games next year. We got stars on deck. We ready to go. And I think that the Bulls will have a big 4. I think Zach LaVine will average 26. I think DeMar will average 23 to 24. I think Vucci Mane will average 19 and at least 10 or 12 rebounds a game. I think that both of Vucci Mane and DeMar will command the mid-range. I think Zach LaVine will be your long-range sniper and shooter, as well as, Zach LaVine will be a long-range shooter, as well as Kobe White off the bench. And I think that this team will play gritty. They will play dirty. If Zach LaVine wants to be who Pavi thinks he is, which Pavi thinks Zach LaVine can be an MVP one day, or an MVP caliber player. Pavi is my co-host on my show Hoops and Brews, or on our show Hoops and Brews, which we co-host. Trust me, he has to get better at being a defensive player and at distributing the basketball. And I understand Zach LaVine averaged a career high in assists last year, or was close to it, but I don't care. I need to see more. I need to see more. The thing that I didn't like about what I saw with Devin Booker in the finals was that he was unable to create shots for anyone not named Devin Booker. And he could give you 40, but he couldn't go out and give you 40 and give you 10. He couldn't go out and give you 40 and 8. And that's what I wanted to see from him. But I wanted to see it every single night. And if he wasn't scoring, which I believe he had a game in which he scored, although he did score 40 twice in the finals, he scored 20 in a couple of them games. And I believe he scored 10 in one game, or somewhere close to that. So you have to be able to do other things. People can say what they wanted to about Kobe, but Kobe made it a point. Well, okay, y'all want to tell me I don't distribute enough? I'm going to pass the ball the whole game to all these bums, and we going to see what happens. And we saw what happened. They lost. And then people was mad at Kobe saying he quit. He didn't quit. He had a point to prove. Zach LaVine, now you have pieces. There is no more I don't have the pieces. There is no more campaigns in the starting lineup. There is no more any of those G League guys. There's no more Cristiano Felicio getting $64 million from the Bulls. You have a squad. You have 2 other perennial all-stars and Lonzo Ball, who I think will be a generational talent, and I think will continue to. And actually, every episode, hot take of the episode, Lonzo Ball has 3 years left on his deal in Chicago. This is my hot take. Let me write this down. This is 8/21 hot take. This is my hot take. Lonzo Ball will finish. Let's go. Lonzo Ball finishes top 10 in MVP voting before his deal is up. All right. Oh, before. Sorry. Deal ends. All right. Lonzo Ball. Whoa, I'm spelling like an idiot right now. Lonzo Ball will be top 10 in NBA MVP voting before his contract with the Bulls ends. I said it August 2021. I'm going to put it up here on the wall. Every week we're going to add a new one. You can book that. Take that. Book that. Take that to the bank. Take that to the bank. And until next time, it's your boy TPJ. Hopefully by the next episode, we will have some more updates on Lauri Markkanen and where he goes, because of course he will not be a Chicago Bull next year unless he decides to take less than $15 million a year. So as always, I appreciate you. You can feel free to follow me. Now I have a Twitter account specifically for this Bulls Fans podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls Fan Pod, or you can follow my personal page at Real TPJ. But that Bulls Fan Pod is coming for you. Also, make sure you follow me on TikTok at Bulls Fan Pod. I'm on there as well. We will be dropping the hot takes upon takes upon takes upon takes, and we will be holding the Chicago Bulls accountable all year long, because I see greatness in this team. And if we do not get greatness from this team, we're getting mediocrity. And guess what? I don't believe that the Chicago Bulls is an organization that should hang their hat on mediocrity. When I was born, Michael Jordan, well, not the year I was born, but the same decade I was born, Michael Jordan delivered 6 rings to the Chicago Bulls. We have not gotten to a finals or gotten a ring since. It is time to end the mediocrity. We have a new front office. We have a new coach. We have 2 new stars. Well, actually, we got 3 new stars, because really we got Vucci in the second half. So it is time for the mediocrity to end, and it is time for the dynasty, the new era. Actually, that's what I'm dubbing it. The new era, the new red. When we get here, when we get to the championship, when we win that ring, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to shed tears, because I remember the days of seeing Eddie Robinson. I remember the days of Andres Nocioni. Shout out to the Bulls legend. When we was just mediocre. We were just mediocre and he was out there giving his all. I remember when we thought Nikola Mirotic was going to be decent, and then he got punched in the face by Bobby P. I remember those baby Bulls. I remember drafting Kirk Hinrich. I remember all of it. I remember D-Wade, Carmelo, and LeBron rumors about them coming to the Bulls, but the front office couldn't get it done. I remember the rumor of Chris Bosh, LeBron James, and D-Wade joining in the Bulls, or the rumors of Dwayne Wade and LeBron coming to the Bulls. But Derrick Rose didn't want to recruit him, and the management was like, well, whatever. I remember days of Keith Bogans averaging 5 points. I remember days of Ronnie Brewer averaging 5 points. I remember when they signed Pau Gasol. I remember when we got Ben Wallace and it didn't work. I remember when we got did we get Chauncey? Did we get Chauncey? No, I don't think we got Chauncey. Who was it? I remember signing Rip Hamilton when it didn't matter. I remember all of it. So I'm sick of the mediocrity. Let's get it. I'm 53 wins. 53 wins. That's what I'm saying. 53 wins in Chicago. 53 wins and nothing less, bro. That's what I want to see. 53 wins. All right. I said it here today. 53 wins. We are sick of the mediocrity. Bring back the greatness. We couldn't bring, back Derrick Rose. That's fine. Go get your bag, D Rose. Shout out to you. But bring back the greatness. All right. Bring our Bulls back. Let's go. I'm out.